We'll start now. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा रस बिहारी राधे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय राधा माधव राधे। जय कृष्णा बलराम जय कृष्णा बलराम। वंशी गोपाल जय वंशी गोपाल जय वंशी गोपाल। जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा देवी जय सुदर्शन। जय निताय सची सुत निताय सची सुत निताय सची सुत निताय सची सुत। जय पांडुरंग विठ्ठल हरि हरि बोल पांडुरंग विठ्ठल हरि हरि बोल। जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान। जय वृंदे देवी जय तुलसी महारानी वृंदे देवी जय तुलसी महारानी। जय षड गोस्वामी जय गुरु परंपरा षड गोस्वामी जय गुरु परंपरा। जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद गुरुदेव जय जय श्रीपाद। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सठ श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन होलीनेस भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर स्वामी महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णवृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। द्वारका धाम की जय। अयोध्या धाम की जय। पंढरपुर धाम की जय। गंगा मई की जय। यमुना मई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। जय बोलो श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र मंदिर की जय। गोपाल जी मंदिर की जय। शिला भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर महाराज श्री श्रीपद महाराज समाधि मंदिर की जय। सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंगा। Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to this morning's Saturday morning's Bhagavatam session. So today we will be studying the ninth canto, 10th chapter, verse number 4. So this is a very long meter. This is not a very common meter even in Bhagavatam. So I will recite this once and then we'll go to the translation. So this meter is called Shtagdhara. For people who are keen to know which meter it is, this Shtagdhara. गुरुवर्ते त्यक्ता राज्यो विचरत् अनुवनं पद्मापत्यां प्रियायः पानीस्पर्शाक्षमभ्यां वृजिता पता रुजो यो हरि इन्द्रनाजुभां नाजुभ्यां वैरूप्य शूर्पणखया प्रिय वीरः रुषारूपितभ्रुविजृम्भा त्रष्टाब्धिर्बद्धा सेतुकल्लधावा दहनकोशालेन्द्रो अवतन्नः. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada. Since the verse is big, I'm skipping the synonyms. We'll directly go to the translation part. To keep the promise of his father intact, Lord Ramchandra immediately gave up the position of king and, accompanied by his wife Mother Sita, wandered from one forest to another on his lotus feet, which were so delicate that they were unable to bear even the touch of Sita's palms. The Lord was also accompanied by Hanuman, or by another monkey, Sugriva, king of the monkeys, and by his own younger brother, Lord Lakshmana, both of whom gave him relief from fatigue of wandering in the forest. Having cut off the nose and ears of Surpanaka, thus disfiguring her, the Lord was separated from Mother Sita. He therefore became angry, moving his eyebrows and thus frightening the ocean, who then allowed the Lord to construct a bridge to cross the ocean. Subsequently, the Lord entered the kingdom of Ravana to kill him, like a fire devouring a forest. May that Supreme Lord, Ramchandra, give us all the protection. There is no purport So we will just discuss. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर स्वामिन् इति नामिनि नमस्सद्भक्तमनिये मणिपुरोद्भवाय च शिला प्रभुपादलसतवाणी प्रचारिणे रतायते नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिनि नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाये तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम्. So once again, welcome all to this morning Bhagavatam session. We are discussing on Canto 9, Chapter 9, Chapter 10. And this chapter is titled The Pastimes of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra. And today we'll be touching upon verse number 4. And before I begin my discussion, I wish to take the humble blessings from all of you so that I'm able to speak something which is suitable and beneficial for this particular verse. And also it helps in my own self-purification. So we continue this study about this great Raghuvanshi dynasty. And thanks to the, what you can say, inquiry of Parishit Maharaj, who has a deep desire to know about this entire dynasty of Raghuvanshi. And also Srila Sukdev Goswami's keenness to satisfy Parishit Maharaj's desire. So the previous chapter, that is chapter 9, the dynasty, it covered a huge number of dynasties. That is almost around 18 generations were covered. You know, starting from King Amshuman, then there were some famous kings like Bhagirath, you know, Saudasha, and there were so many kings in between. And then finally, this chapter ended with the great king Maharaj Katuvanga. And this chapter, that is chapter 10, now we're in verse 4. The first verse covered very quickly between Maharaj Katuvanga to Dirgabahu, Raghu, and then Aja, Dashrath, and now finally the advent of Ramachandra. So Lord Ramchandra is appeared. So Ramchandra, Srila Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. So when Lord Ramachandra descended into this world, he came as a complete Chaturvyuha expansion of Lord Narayan. That is the second quadruple expansion, which was very nicely explained a couple of days back by Madan Manohar Prabhu. So where Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna and Anirudh, they take the forms of Ramchandra, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrugana. And sages, the great sages like Valmiki, who are actually in the knowledge of the absolute truth, they are sharing all these transcendental pastimes which are revealed to them. And Shukadev Goswami is describing these pastimes in brief. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, these pastimes are described in brief because already he says to Parikshit Maharaj that you know about this, you have heard about it several times, but we will discuss, I'll share it in a brief. He says that way. So today's verse you can say is also an important verse as a mantra. It is not only a verse, it's like a mantra which can be always recited for our protection. Because if you see the last line of the verse, it ends with Koshalendro Avatannaha. So Koshala Indra means the king of Ayodhya. Koshala. King of Ayodhya is Lord Ramchandra. Avatan is basically seeking for protection. And Naha means us. So when we chant this, it's very important that we seek protection. But before we seek protection, we are actually glorifying the Lord also. So this entire verse, in one sense, if you see, is a summary of the entire Ramayana. Probably this is the only verse ever which describes the entire Ramayana in one particular verse. Therefore, I would say that we must try to memorize this verse, because if this verse is understood, then it is like, we have understood entire Ramayana also. So there is a very famous pranam mantra for Ramachandra in one of the Sri Rama Raksha Stotram, it is called. And it goes this way. Ramaya Rama Bhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Patiye Namaha. So we offer our obeisances to Ramaya, that is Lord Ramchandra, to Rama Bhadraya. So he's also called as Rama Bhadraya because there are different explanations for this. One for the explanation means that he is personification of all goodness, all auspiciousness, and it also emphasizes that the virtuous nature of Lord Ramchandra. And there's also an explanation that he was close to close to the hill, that is Bhadrachala mountain. So Rama Bhadraya. Ramachandraya, he is as effulgent as the moon. And this Vedas say, so all the Vedas, they, give this good essence to us. Raghunathaya, he is the uh, he's the king of all the kings, like of the Raghu dynasty. Raghunathaya, Nathaya, and also he is like an emperor of the entire, like Jagannath we say, so it's like a entire creation. Sitaya Patehe Nama. So he is a consort of Mother Sita, and we pray to him in this particular mood. So it's a glorification of the Lord, and that is how when we pay obeisance, we can pray. So in the previous verse, Srila Prabhupada actually gave a good insight to how the knowledge must be received, especially transcendental knowledge must be, that is, containing this entire knowledge of absolute truth, how it must be received. He gives an indication that it has to be received through a bona fide disciplic succession only. And you have to approach a guru, spiritual master, and you have to inquire with him very submissively in a servitor attitude. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Then if we do that, then the guru because he's a Tattvadarshini, he will actually reveal the knowledge, and it's a heart to heart hotline. Directly it will be transported into our heart. The knowledge will be revealed. So that is how this descending process works. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada also cautions in the previous verse that there are several versions of Ramayana, but we have to be quite careful. We cannot go through certain scholarly, purports or translations, because they may be a little bit of concocted or self-imagination, speculations, mental sentiments. All those things will come into play. So it can, Lord Ramchandra is not an object of somebody's imagination. We have to understand the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through an Acharya principle. No? Guru Parampara Shishya. Guru Shishya Parampara. So then this knowledge will be revealed to us in a most appropriate way. So therefore, we consider Valmiki's Ramayana as authentic because Sukdev Goswami actually gives a hint that, see, Valmiki has actually had no prior qualification. He was basically a hunter, Ratnakar. He was a plunderer, a murderer. But through Lord Ramchandra's causeless mercy, which came through the pure soul, Narada Muni. Narada Muni is the best ever traveling preacher across the globe or across the various Triloka. So he inspired Valmiki out of compassion. He ignored all the bad qualities of Valmiki because his only aim was how to uplift this particular conditioned soul. And in the process, he gave him the medicine. And the medicine he gave was, he said, you don't worry about anything. Because in Treta Yuga, the methodology for purification was Yagya. Now, Kali Yuga, the methodology is Nam Sankirtan. So in Treta Yuga, now we are talking of the event that has happened in Treta Yuga. The medicine was Yagya process. But he knew that Valmiki had a limitation because he came from such an abominable background that he did not have qualifications even to do a proper Yagya. So, therefore, he told him, you don't do anything, just you chant the name of Lord Ramchandra. Rama, 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 just say that. But to the misfortune of Valmiki, even that he could not chant. Such was the condition. Then finally, Narada Muni, he brought in some innovation in his preaching. And he knew that Valmiki was basically a hunter and he can only deal with something that is, after killing the person, dead things. The dead means Mara. So he said, okay, you chant Mara, Mara, Mara. That way, Valmiki was able to connect very easily. And Mara, 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 Rama, Rama, it became Rama, Rama, Rama. And by uttering this Rama, 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 he got complete purification. Okay. And the rest we know is history. He became purified, and then later on, Brahmaji actually instructed him to write Ramayana for the benefit of entire mankind. So therefore, since the knowledge is coming in a bona fide sampradaya from Brahma and Narada, Valmiki Ramayana also is authentic. That is what we follow. There are some other Ramayans also in the market, but we follow Valmiki Ramayana. So we should understand that knowledge has to be received not through sentiments, it has to be received in a bona fide parampara. So then Valmiki, he wanted to basically teach this Ramayana. So in his kutir, these two young boys, Lava and Kush, the children of Lord Ramchandra, they were wandering and they came to his hermitage and they took shelter. He readily gave them shelter because they were so effulgent. They didn't look like normal children, So out of love, he gave them thing, and then he thought, let me teach this Ramayana to these young boys. And then he taught the entire Ramayana to them. And these young boys, he told them, you go out and you start singing in the form of a song, this entire Ramayana. So Lava and Kusha, they decided to go to Ayodhya, you know, where Lord Ramchandra also was there and all his brothers were also there. So they went and they narrated the entire Valmiki Ramayana there, much to the uh, relishment of all of them present there, especially Lord Ramchandra. Now, if you discuss about this to a modern day, typical person or atheistic person, they will say this is mythological, myth, imagination. Even as recently as few years back, I remember uh, the former DMK Supremo, the late Karunanidhi, he and his son Stalin, they said that there's nothing like Ramasetu. It's all actually fictitious, bogus, and even Lord Rama never existed. It is all just creation of mind. This is how they, under the influence of uh, atheism, the present in atheism and some other sentiments, to satisfy the other people also, they made this kind of, in a responsible position, they made an irresponsible statement. Just 1 second, something seems to be burning. Nothing alarming. It is just that the new dupe that has been purchased yesterday, it's giving a different fragrance. I thought something was burning in the kitchen. So this is the present situation. Atheism is prevailing everywhere, and everything, whatever we discuss, Ramayana, Mahabharata, everything is mythological. So this is not right. It is basically history. You have to correct such thing. So we have to be first convinced, and then we have to convince the other people. So here we find that pure devotee, when we are able to read all this only because of pure devotees. So Parikshit Maharaj is on his last days now, and no, we have come to ninth canto. That means not many days left, hardly 2 or 3 days remaining for him out of 7 days, and he's requesting Sukdev Goswami to narrate about the dynasty of this entire Suryavanshi or Raghuvanshi, because that is inspiring. Hmm? And Shukdev Goswami is also obliged to narrate because this is for his own transcendental pleasure and for the transcendental pleasure of Parikshit Maharaj. So why is this narration of Lord's pastimes so much give so much pleasure? What is the reason for that? The answer is because whenever we discuss about Lord's pastime, you know, whether it is Krishna's pastimes, Rama's pastime, or Rama's, so we find that it is always attractive. You find it relishable, and you feel that it's something new is coming out each time. Tadeva Ramyam Ruchiram Navam Navam. Tadeva Shashwan Manaso Mahotsavam. That means it's like a festival for the years whenever we hear. Ramyam, attractive, Ruchiram, relishable, and Navam Navam. Always it is something new is coming out in the juice. And also it removes all the ocean of miseries in the process. Tadeva Shokarnava Shoshanam Nirnam. So whenever we sing the glories of the Lord, Taduttama Shloka, Yasho Anugiyate. So whenever we sing the glories, these things immediately they catch us like a fever. We want to hear more and more. So this was the position of Parikshit Maharaj, and Sukdev Goswami, understanding this complete sentiments of a pure devotee, was feeding him more and more, nurturing his soul so that he's completely absorbed and his purity becomes more and more refined. Of course, more than that, this whole thing is to purify us, because Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj were already pure souls. They were enjoying each other's company. But this whole narration is for us, the Shrotas, people are hearing, to purify our senses, our mind, our intellect, and everything. So, with this kind of a setup, let us now enter into Ramayana as an overview, because this verse is talking about the summary. As I said in the beginning, if you know this verse, you have understood the entire Ramayana. So we'll begin with the way that Laukush also began narrating. Laukush directly didn't come to Rama, Sita, and all that. They started with Ravana. So we'll also begin with Ravana. Hmm? Because the demigods, they were infuriated and they were completely troubled by what is happening, because the entire peace and tranquility of Mother Earth was disturbed by this person, Ravana. And then they approached Brahmaji to relieve them, as usual, from the troubles of all these miseries. So this is almost every canto we find this kind of events where Asuras are troubling the Devtas run over to Brahmaji, and Brahmaji gives them some advice. Then he takes them to Shwetadeep on the banks of Milk Ocean. They pray to Lord Vishnu, Shirodakshaya Vishnu, and then he sometimes manifests and gives them, like the entire Samudra Manthan Leela happened through the teachings of Shirodakshaya Vishnu, and then the Devtas one. So here is another occasion when the demigods are approaching. So let us understand this personality Ravana also, because we should understand every character of such great scriptures, because then we will know how to relate these characters with ourselves in the true sense. Because some of these characters are present in Kali Yuga, not physically, but they are present in our mind, as anarthas. So Ravana is a supreme personality of greed, no, the personification of greed, whereas Ramachandra is supreme personality of love. And Ravana was born to a devotee father, that is a sage, and a demoness, Rakshasa princess, Kaikasi. And the father was Vishrava. So this happened in Treta Yuga. And they say that there is a village in Uttar Pradesh called as Bishrak. They claim that this Bishrak is named after Ravana's father, that is Vishrava, from Vishrava, the Bishrak, and they say that Ravana was born in this particular place. I have not been there, but this is what I have heard, Bishrak. And Ravana's grandfather, that is the father of Vishrava, was a great sage, Pulastya. The Pulastya Muni is one of the 10 Prajapatis who came from the mind of Lord Brahma, and also is one of the Saptarishis in the first Manvantara. And this Kaikasi, that is the demonic mother, her father was a great Rakshasa by the name Sumali. And Sumali had 10 sons and 4 daughters, out of which one of them was Kaikasi. So he had a desire that Kaikasi should be married to a very powerful person in this world, so as to produce an exceptional offspring. And because he was powerful, he rejected all the kings of the world, because he could easily know that they were less powerful than him. So he wanted somebody more powerful. So Kaikasi herself was going about and she searched, and she found this Vishrava. So Vishrava was already father at that time of the great Kubera. But still, she was interested to marry Vishrava. Vishrava was not keen. He refused initially, but Kaikasi kept on pestering him. And Vishrava said, okay, but be careful and beware that the offsprings that will come out of your womb will be all, not good. Only one of them will be a good boy. All of them otherwise will be very, very bad. So she was not that concerned as long as she was getting offspring from Vishrava. She pleaded, of course, and then finally Vishrava caved in. So that's how Ravana was born, and his siblings are Kumbhakarna, Bibhishana, and Surpanaka. So Surpanaka was the sister. Hmm? And they were highly, I would say Vedic, because being the children of Vishrava was Muni. So Vishrava taught all of them at a very young age the entire Veda. So Ravana actually was a great scholar of all the Vedas. He knew everything. Hmm? But he was born with so much of power comparable to 10 heads and 20 hands. And it is said that when he was born, his eyes were as red as the molten copper. Hmm? And therefore, his father, that is Vishrava, named him as Dashagriva. And eventually he became known as Ravana. Ravana means somebody who makes others cry. And the second son, Kumbhakarna, as soon as he was born, he became so huge, so mighty, that he was almost like a monster touching the sky and other lokas. That it is said that he would just pluck the devtas from thin air and he would chew them for fun. And then he would, once Indra asked him that, where is my army? And he just replied casually that I've already digested them. So this was his pravritti. And the third son, Vibhishana, was born as a very gentle and nice person. And therefore, he annoyed the entire family because the entire family was, Rakshasas. So he was not in good books. So Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Vibhishana, they decided to perform penance on Mount Gokarna for 11,000 years and they prayed for immortality. But each of their prayers, were different. So Ravana prayed that he wanted protection. So see these, even like Hiranyakashipu, they go and then do this tapasya, standing on one finger of the foot, toe of the one leg and all that, and for several thousand years, and Brahma gets pleased. So Ravana asked for protection or immortality from the Devtas, Yakshas, Kinkaras, Gandharvas, and all those, virtually everybody, except he left out human beings because he thought human beings and animals are basically insignificant. Because if Devtas, I can take protection from Devtas, who are these human beings? But see, Lord has a plan. Otherwise, he would not have come as Lord, as a Lord Ramchandra in the human form. So there was already a plan. And then Brahma granted this boon. Ravana was blessed with the boon. Hmm? Then Kumbhakarna also in the same way asked for benediction. But the Devtas, they were scared. They told Brahmaji that already you have given such a powerful boon to Ravana. Now you are going to give this powerful boon to his brother also. Then where do we go then? So Brahma realized, so what he did was immediately before Kumbhakarna could ask for the boon, he employed his consort Saraswati Devi to enter into his tongue. And when she entered the tongue, and as soon as Kumbhakarna wanted to ask for benediction, he very casually asked that I want a benediction that I sleep all the time. Tathastu, immediately Brahmaji granted him. Then immediately Kumbhakarna realized, oh, what did I ask? If I sleep all the time, then how can I show my power, my prowess? So he said, no, it happened by mistake. You please correct it now. Brahmaji said, sorry, once I given the boon, I cannot do anything. But I'll do one thing. One day in the year, you will wake up. And that day you can show your prowess. And then that is how Kumbhakarna went into sleep most of the time after realizing his mistake. Then Vibhishna approached Brahma for the boon. And what was his boon? He said, oh Lord, please give me a boon that I always serve the Lord. I always stand by virtues so that I can purify my existence. I always want to associate with the saintly people. And Brahmaji granted that boon also. So that is how this thing is. So once Ravana was blessed by Brahmaji, he went on, top gear, on rampage because of this quality called as greed. Greed to conquer. And greed, the devotees, comes from lust. If you go on feeding the lust more, it is never satisfied. It only increases the appetite for greed. And if you don't satisfy, it leads to anger. In fact, Lord Krishna has spent one full section explaining this about greed in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. When he explains to Arjuna, Arjuna was actually saying that I don't know how I'm acting in a particular way. What makes me act, I'm not certain. I'm pushed to act in a particular way. So Krishna says, Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajaguna, Samudbhava. This Kama and Krodha are the outputs of Rajagun. So you have to rise from that. And once this comes, this is Mahashano Mahapapma. Huh? So Mahashano means it's completely, it will like all devouring enemy. Shana means, Ashana means like to eat. It will eat away all your credits. No balance will be left over. Mahapapama. That means you will get into greater sinful tendency. So we have to be careful of that. So this uh, Ravana, he was continuously being fanned with that, and his greed went on increasing to such an extent that uh, his half brother, Kubera is his half brother. See, Kubera was, we know, the treasurer, and he was very rich. It was actually Kubera who built Swarna Lanka, not Ravana. But we think that Ravana has made everything. What Ravana did was he fought with Kubera and he kicked him out of Lanka. And he said, get out. And he took full control of the Swarna Lanka that was made of gold. And he occupied the palace that was built actually by Kubera. So that is how he became. And not only that, he became so greedy, even though the entire Lanka was made of gold, that now he was aspiring to build a staircase of gold right up to Indraloka to conquer all the heavenly planets. And he did that. And to add salt to the injury, he also snatched away Kubera's famous Pushpa Viman. This Pushpa Viman or special plane is so special that one can travel anywhere into any place in the universe at will. So Ravana used that. So one day, when Ravana was traveling in the Pushpa Viman, he was traveling over the forest. He just peeped down and he saw there was a beautiful uh, lady who was sitting in a posture and meditating. So he thought, who is this lady? Let me go and talk to her. So he asked her, oh, beautiful girl, who are you? Yeah? And she said, I am Vedavati. Hmm? And then he asked, what are you doing? She said, I'm meditating so that I get a husband like Vishnu. So he became angry. Ravana became angry. He said, husband like Vishnu, but who is Vishnu? I am the person who is the supreme personality here in the universe. I am unconquerable. You should marry me. And saying that, he grabbed her hand. And when she tried to release, her matted, typically that yogi posture, that hair, matted hair, it just, spilled off. I mean, it just opened up. And when that happened, she, with her yogic power, she cursed Ravana. She said that I'll be born again in another life and I'll be the cause of your destruction. And saying this, when Ravana was trying to grab her again, through her yogic power, she created, the self-immolation fire, and she became self-immolated. So this was one curse that Ravana had already received. Then on another occasion, when he was traveling the same Pushpa Viman on top of Ayodhya, he was watching what's happening, and suddenly he saw, oh, this city looks so beautiful. See, again, the greed started playing in his mind. So anything that is nice, you want to come and snatch or lord it over, material nature. That's a demonic pravrti. So immediately he said, and then he took up the challenge of fighting that king, and he immediately very easily overpowered that king because Ravana was very powerful. So the king also cursed him. He said that you have disturbed the peace and tranquility of my kingdom. So I curse you that one of my citizens will be the cause of your death. Just you wait and watch. So this is a second curse. One was from Vedavati, one was from the king of Ayodhya. So now it is clear his roadmap for the next phase of life is already clearly chalked out. So in the meantime, the Devtas were so much disturbed with all these activities that they went to Brahma, pleaded, and Brahma took them to the Shwetadeep, Vishnu, and then Lord Narayan assured them that I will soon appear as the son of Dasharath in the same Raghu dynasty, and my expansions also will come as my brothers. And you, some of you, or all of you, should also participate as my associates, and then we will kill this demon, Ravana. So therefore, it is said that our sun god became Sugriva, I mean, expanded to Sugriva, and Indra expanded as Vali. And there are different demigods. They took different. There's a big list actually. Who all became? Some of them became monkeys. Some became bears and all that. And then in the meantime, our Dashrath Maharaj, he had. So our Radha Govind Prabhu, I'll go slightly over time today because I'm covering the entire summary. So maybe I'll go 10 minutes over time beyond 8:30. So please permit me. Okay. So in the meantime, Dashrath Maharaj, who was having only one daughter, Shanta, but he was not having any sons. He was a bit worried that I've got so many wives. Actually, he had 350 beautiful wives, out of which the three prominent were Kausalya, Sumitra, and Kaikai. So he discussed with his ministers, what should I do if I don't have any putra? Who is going to take my, who is going to become the heir to this throne? I'm worried. So at that time, one of the ministers, I think his name is Sumantra, he actually reminded Dasharath that why don't you employ Rishi Shringa, who is the son-in-law, who is the husband of Shanta. Why don't you employ Rishi Shringa? Because you remember many years back, we were informed that Rishi Shringa can come and do yagya in our kingdom, and then all the auspicious will come through because he is an expert in yagya. So immediately Dashrath remembered that and he approached his good friend Romapad that please release Rishi Shringa and send him here to my kingdom. So immediately Rishi Shringa came and he performed the yagya. And because of his expertise in performing yagya, one beautiful personality came out of the yagya. And this personality was carrying a nice pot. And this pot had nectar of Paisam. So he said that I have been sent by Lord Narayan to hand over this special pot to you, O Dashrath, and please distribute this among your three wives, Kaushalya, Sumitra, and Kaikai. Saying this, he handed over the pot and he disappeared. So Dashrath took this pot and he took half of that, whatever he received, and he handed over to Kaushalya. And the remaining half, he divided into further halves, that is 1/4 it happened, and it went to Sumitra and Kaikai. So very soon, the result was that these three ladies, became pregnant, and they were carrying in their wombs the great personalities of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Kaushalya was carrying Ramchandra, Kaikai was carrying Bharata, and Sumitra was carrying Lakshmana and Shatrughna. And when these boys, after birth, they were growing, King Dashrath, he taught all of them the expertise to fight the bow and arrow, the swords, and he taught many things to them out of loving care because they were like a source of pleasure. Especially, he became very affectionate, loving to Lord Ramchandra. Now, when the boys grew up and Ramchandra was around 14 years old, one day Vishwamitra, the great sage Vishwamitra, who was once upon a time Rajarshi, that is the king saint, he became basically a sage. He appeared to check whether everything was going well in this kingdom. It's a reflection of also how the king's behavior is there. So king said, by God's grace, everything is going well, and my kingdom is very prosperous. So he said that that's because of your good behavior. If your senses are well controlled, automatically the kingdom will flourish. So that's again, a lesson for us. When we control our senses, all good virtues will prevail. So then the king asked, out of his gentle approach, Dashrath Maharaj asked Vishwamitra, how are you doing? Is everything going fine at your end? All the yagya that you're carrying, everything going well? So Vishwamitra replied that, yes, everything is going fine, but then there is a problem. Oh, what is the problem? He said that when I'm doing this yagya and all the and about to make a offering of all the oblations, saying swaha, uttering swaha, at that time, these rakshasas headed by Maricha, they fly over the Yagyakund and they start throwing all the dirty things like flesh, urine, stool, etc. Dirt. So they are completely spoiling, and as a result, I'm required to repeat the whole process over and over again. So can you help me? Dasharath said, uh, you yourself, you are a very powerful person. Through your power itself, you can easily destroy them through your yogic powers. So Vishwamitra said, yes, I can do that. But now I'm a Brahmana. I don't want to spoil my, status. Therefore, you are a Kshatriya. Can you help me? So Dashrath said, yes, I can help you. I can come myself with all my army and we can fight. So Vishwamitra said, no, I want to ask you one thing, if you can grant me that. So Dashrath, least expecting what he was going to ask, said, okay, you ask what you want then. He said, I want only one person from your entire family, that is Lord Ram. Dashrath was shattered. Rama, he's only 14-year-old boy. Why do you want him? He said, no, I want him because I know with his help, I can destroy all these, acts of these Rakshasas. So Dashrath was very much shattered and he was thinking, what is to be done, how I can part with Rama. But then Vashishta Muni came and he advised Dashrath to allow him to go because he said in the long run it will be good for your son because Vishwamitra will also teach him few good things on he'll give him some nice weapons also and he will teach him few mantras through which he will be much more stronger and he can fight anything. So very great reluctantly Dashrath parted because his Vatsalya Prem was so strong, that separation from Rama was extremely difficult for him. He was in great sorrow. It is like when Lord Krishna, in Krishna Lila, when he goes for Gocharan, the gopis used to lament, that they cannot see him whole day. And when he returned in the night, they'll get only few hours, then he'll go to sleep. So they were actually, in one sense, criticizing Brahma also for creating an eyelid. Because of that, they are not able to, they're missing to see him completely at those times when the eyelids close. So that is the bhav. So Dashrath actually was completely in Vatsalya Prem and could not bear the separation. So another internal reason also why Vishwamitra took Ramchandra was that he wanted to take him to Maharaj Janaka's palace also, so that he can give a chance for him to meet his future consort Sita Devi. So of course he took Ramchandra, and the first task was to vanquish all these Rakshasas, and he did that so beautifully. One blow to Maricha, he was thrown away 8,000 miles away. So it is said that the present day Mauritius is that place where Maricha landed from this place, Ayodhya, Mauritius. And so that was the power of Lord Ramchandra. In the meantime, here Janaka he was also childless, and he found a beautiful, lotus floating around him, which is coming towards his palace. And inside that lotus, there was a golden, there's a golden lotus. Inside that, there was a child, beautiful child. So he picked that child, and he thought it was God's child come to him, and he named her as Sita Devi. So this Sita Devi is none other than Vedavati in the previous life, who had cursed Ravana. So Sita Devi was growing nicely in Janaka Maharaj's palace. Maharaj taught her many things. especially the art of cleaning. She was extremely good in cleaning. And one day when she was cleaning, she noticed the most powerful Shiv Dhanush, which nobody can lift. And Janaka Maharaj saw that Sita Devi easily lifted the Dhanush bow with one hand, and she started cleaning, and then she placed her back also. So at that time, Janaka Maharaj realized that this is not a normal child. She's a very powerful child. Therefore, whenever I get her married, it has to be an equally powerful or even more powerful person to marry her. Otherwise, it will be a misfit. So he arranged the Swayamvara. So we'll go fast forward now and we'll go to the coronation of Lord Ramchandra. So in the meantime, Dashath Maharaj was thinking that now, I've come almost to the end of I'm getting old and I need to make somebody the next person heir of the throne. So he consulted the various Muni and he expressed his desire to appoint Rama as his successor. And everybody unanimously supported. Nobody had any problem. And just one day before the coronation, Mantara, the wicked maidservant of Kaikei, she had a problem. She saw a problem there and she went and told Kaikei, and she polluted her mind to such an extent that she said that your son Bharat will become useless once Rama becomes the king and he'll become a slave of Lord Ramchandra. Do you want your son Bharata to become the slave of Lord Ramchandra? So that way she polluted the mind of Kaikei. And then immediately she alerted Kaikei, now is the time to go to Dashrath and ask your two boons which he had given you some time back when you saved him. So she went and she asked for two boons which completely shattered Dashrath Maharaj. What are the two boons? One was that may Ramchandra be exiled for 14 years, which was very painful. And then he said, then she said, may my son Bharat be made the king of Ayodhya. But Dashrath had no choice. Painfully, unwillingly, he agreed to her, and then he appointed Bharat as the next successor. But Bharat was such a nice servant of Lord Ramchandra that he knew that it is not for him to take this kind of opportunistic approach. So instead, he placed Ramchandra's slippers on the throne, and he hardly ruled. He was actually more keen to find where Lord Ramchandra has gone. In the meantime, Lord Ramchandra obediently, as an obedient son, agreed to the wish of Dashrath Maharaj, and he embarked upon this 14 years of exile into the forest, accompanied by Lakshmana and Sita Devi, only wearing tree bark, and barefoot. So here in the purport, in the translation, it is said that his feet were so soft that even Mother Sita's palm, was softer than Mother Sita's palm also. So that is so. So therefore, when he was walking, people were feeling very, very, feeling very bad that the thorns will hurt his lotus feet, and how to give him comfort. So finally, Lakshmana took the role of being Balram incarnation. He took the role of being the complete, servant for Rama and Sita. So he made a small hut for them in Chitrakoot, a calm and peaceful place. And his job was only to guard. So the daytime he would serve, in the nighttime when they went to take rest, he would guard. So it is said that Lakshmana hardly slept for the entire 14 years of Vanvas. This is the attitude of servitor. So this is Guru Tattva. You see, when Guru's mood is always, how can I serve you? Even though we are supposed to serve the Guru, but Guru will always say, how can I serve you? And then he eventually tries to help the disciple by taking away all his anarthas. And he's making him, more, he puts him in his service, so that automatically the consciousness get purified. So this is how actually Lakshman did not sleep only, complete servitor attitude. So this was also one type of austerity. And if you compare this austerity with Kumbhakarna's austerity, there's no comparison. Kumbhakarna also stood for 11,000 years on a single foot and all that. But the motive was selfish. How to become unconquerable. That was the motive. So therefore, the human body that we receive has to be used completely for devotional service. This is the advice, guidance given by King Rishabdev in the 5th canto to his 100 sons. What he says, Tapo Divyam Putraka Yena Sattvam. Tapo Divyam, our body is meant only for doing tapasya. He tells his children. And then when we do that, our heart will be purified and we will get Shuddhayat, we will get satisfied. Complete satisfaction will come from this. Now, if, the trouble that if you see what Ramchandra undertook, sometimes you can draw parallel with what Srila Prabhupada also underwent. In modern times, you can just connect that to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was in Vraj, in Radha Damodar, and he was completely meditating upon the instructions of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he was actually thinking, how can I leave Vraj, so dear to my heart, and yet I have to fulfill the orders of my spiritual master to go out in the Western world, Paschatya Desha, and to preach to those people who don't have any knowledge. But that being the higher principle, because the order came from his spiritual master, he took that as an instruction close to his heart. And he went, he left the jungles, the one of Vrindavan, to enter into the concrete jungle of New York. And from there, he gave the entire message of Krishna Prem that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us. So in this way, we understand that it's a lesson in the sense that sometimes we are put in a comfortable situation, but when the order comes from our superior, especially from our spiritual master, we should be prepared to give up those comforts, because the order of spiritual master overrules all our comforts. Whatever distressful situation it may give us, we have to follow that as the life and death for us. Then we become glorious as per the Shastric injunction. Again, going forward, fast forward now. Now they move from forest to forest and they come to Dandakarinya forest, where this Surpanaga, as is mentioned here, she's going around to find the most suitable husband for her through her yogic, Shakti. And then she finds Lord Ramchandra there as a most beautiful, handsome personality. And she immediately says that this is the man I have to marry. And she approaches Lord Ramchandra and she says that, oh, most beautiful, handsome personality, I want to marry you. Okay, please do not refuse. And she also looks beautiful. But Ramchandra was immediately with folded hands, he said, I'm already married and I'm a Ekpati Vrata. I cannot marry another wife. So if at all you want to marry, you approach my brother Lakshmana. Saying that, he pushes her to Lakshmana. And Lakshmana immediately says, oh, no, I'm not, fit to marry you, because if you marry me, then you have to become the servant of Ram, because I am the servant of Ram. Will you become a servant of Ram? She said, no, I cannot become servant of anybody. Then he said, no, sorry, then I cannot marry you. So this is the mood. See, the Rakshashi mood is that they cannot serve. They want to lord over nature. So then he says, go back to Lord Ramchandra and you approach him and he will marry you. So he is actually playing with her. Then once again she approaches Lord Ramchandra and he also again tells the same thing. No, I cannot marry you. But then she said, Lakshmana also refused. You are also refusing. What will I do? Then he said, no, you approach Lakshmana once again, this time more politely. So she goes to Lakshmana again in a more polite gesture. And Lakshmana again refuses. So in this way, both of them, they are actually like a football. They are playing against each other. So she gets infuriated. And then she suddenly puts her eye on Sita Devi. And she says, this lady is the cause of all my problem, because she's married to Ram. If she had not married, I could have got a chance to marry Lord Ramchandra. Saying that, she pounces upon Sita in a gesture as if to harm or eat her away. And then Lord Ramchandra, with just, an action of eyebrows and eyesight, he gives an order to Lakshmana to cut off her nose and her ears, which is done very swiftly by Lakshmana. In this way, Surpanaka, is completely, disfigured. Her face becomes disfigured, and the bleeding nose and bleeding ears, she runs away from there and goes and complains to Ravana. Ravana is not able to understand what she's saying, because he's in a very high, so he doesn't pay much attention. But when she says that there is a beautiful lady there, and Ravana, you must go and see that lady, and if possible, you must bring her here and make her your servant. That immediately opens up Ravana's ears. This is again a demonic nature. So the moment for them, like they say, lust goes with wine, woman, and what are the three W's? Wine, woman, and wealth. These are three things that the lusty person always desires. The moment he said this beautiful lady, then Ravana immediately said, okay, I'll do one thing. I'll ensure that she's kidnapped and brought her here. You know, and then he tells his uncle Maricha, oh Maricha, you must immediately become a golden deer, and you must go in that place where they're residing, and then Ramchandra will be after you, and then I will go and kidnap Mother Sita. But he is not willing to do that, and he's giving his opinion. Ravana says, I'm not asking for your opinion, I'm giving an order. Either you do this or I'll kill you. This is like, in the during in Gaurang Mahaprabhu's Leela, Nawab Hussain Shah, he approached Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami with a nice job offer letter. That you have been employed in my ministers as ministers, and you'll be paid very handsomely, and you'll get this, you'll get that, all the comforts, and so you please join. And if you don't join, I'll systematically kill all the Vaishnavas. So there's no actually choice given. It's like an order. So Maricha thought that instead of dying at the hands of, I have to anyway die now, either at the hands of Ravana, or if I become a deer, I'll die at the hands of Lord Ramchandra. So at least I'll get liberation if I die in the hands of Ramchandra. So he becomes a deer, a golden deer. Lord Ramchandra goes in searching for the deer to get it for Mother Sita because she liked it. And as he goes there, immediately through this Maya Shakti, Ravana appears there in the form of a Brahmana, and he asks for alms. And then with saying some sweet words, and before that, of course, there is a voice coming from inside by Maricha, where he says in the voice of Ramchandra, oh Sita, oh Lakshmana, please save me, please save me. So Sita immediately wants Lakshmana to go and look for Lord Rama, because it is Lord Rama who is asking for help. And when Lakshmana was reluctant to go there because he suspected that there is some maybe some demonic interference here, Sita says, why don't you listen to me? Do you have some ulterior motive? And she casts certain impure motive to his character. So he was so disturbed, and he has no option but to listen to Mother Sita, and he goes away. Now this gives the opportunity for Ravana to approach her when she's alone, and in no time he kidnaps her and takes away in his Pushpa. And then the great servant Jatayu spots this, and he chases Ravana, fights valiantly till the time he loses his wings, falls down, and dies not before telling Lord Ramchandra that who has kidnapped Sita and in which direction she has gone. So then Lord Ramchandra and Lakshmana, they come to Kishkinda, and they form a pact with King Sugriva, the king of monkeys, that he says that I will save your wife from the clutches of Vali, and in return, you help to search my wife. That is a pact they enter, and Ramchandra kills Vali in a fight between Sugriva and Vali. He kills him from behind, and then they proceed with the help of Jatayu's brother towards the south, and they reach that place, And now Hanuman, in the meantime, who has forgotten his strength and ability to fly, is inspired by Jambavan, that he can easily, he says, you're Pavan Putra, you're already a great soul. When you were born, you're a small child, you flew to eat away the sun, and all that he says, and he inspires him, and immediately Hanuman becomes big, and he discovers Jai Shri Ram and he starts flying over the ocean. 800 miles he crosses and just uttering the word Jai Shri Ram and enters into Ashok Vatika. And when Lord Ramchandra and Lakshmana, they reach that spot, they realize that they have to make a bridge to cross over to enter the kingdom of Lanka. Now, one may think this way, that if Hanuman can, as a servant of Lord Ramchandra, can fly and go, why can't Lord Ramchandra do the same? After all, he's the supreme personality of Godhead, isn't it? Why he has to take the trouble to make a bridge in the first place and then walk over? So the answer is that he wanted to employ all his servants in his devotional service. This is actually an act of devotion, to employ the bears, the monkeys, the squirrels. Everybody was employed in whatever way they can to make this Ram Setu, this bridge, and so that everybody feels that they have participated. It's a real team effort. This is the sign of a great leader. In an organization, a leader should never think that even though he can do the things, he should never give a feeling to his subordinates that he can do it himself, because the subordinates will feel detached. So instead, if he's engaging them and gives them the direction, and then they all participate, and then there's a victory, then automatically everybody feels elated, and then there's a sense of joy for everyone, and then the leader becomes even more great, because he doesn't take credit, he gives the credit to his team members. This is a very nice lesson we can learn. And finally, when they came to that, after 3 days of tapasya in the ocean, we are in the last 2-3 minutes now, and the ocean would not relent, would not give permission. And finally, Ramchandra had to, show his anger by moving his eyebrow. Then the Samudra, the personality of Godhead, so the personality of ocean, he came up, and with folded hands, he said, "Sorry, I will not come in your way. You please construct the bridge the way you want, and then please kill this demon, Ravan. I will support in whatever possible way I can to help you." So in this way, the entire team, whatever they could, they went on throwing on the sea, and nothing sank. Everything was floating because of the power of Lord Ramchandra. So even the twigs, the stones, everything was floating, and they held each other's hand with a nice sign of unity, and they crossed the ocean, Samudra, and they went to the other side. And Ramchandra, by then, of course, Hanuman had found out where she is, and he reported everything to to Ramchandra and Lakshmana. And then, of course, Ramchandra seized the opportunity, and as was the curse for Ravana, that he will be killed by one of the great sons of Ayodhya, it was fulfilled, and Lord Ramchandra, through just a shot of arrow, that immediately took his all the 10 heads away from his body, and he fell down with completely vanquished. And in this way, he rescued Mother Sita and brought her back to Ayodhya. Bolo Siya Ramchandra ki jai. So we will sing one beautiful short song in glories of Lord Ramchandra. And with that, we'll end this particular session today. It is a very wonderful thing that, even though it's slightly extended session, but this is a summary of the entire Rama in this verse. So it is very difficult to cover the entire Rama in one verse. So I'll sing this, recite this song, and all of you can either unmute, or you can even sing in the muted way also. Ramachandra Raghuveera, Ramachandra Ranadhira, Ramachandra Raghuveera, Ramachandra Ranadhira, Ramachandra Raghunatha, Ramachandra Jagannatha, Ramachandra Raghunatha, Ramachandra Jagannatha, Ramachandra मम बन्धो रामचन्द्र दया सिन्धु रामचन्द्र मम बन्धो रामचन्द्र दया सिन्धु हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। जय बोलो सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय।
जय
जय बोलो रामायण की जय।
जय
हिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Thank you very much for
हरे
being
कृष्ण
part of this long session, rather long session. So, if you have any comments or questions by anybody, please come forward.
Yes, bro. Thank you for this very beautiful rendition of Ramayana in a very short span of time. And yes, bro. We have got some chat message. I think Anusha Mataji. Thank you so much for talking and taking us to all Treta Yuga with your transcendental lecture this morning. Unknown history revealed, unbelievable parallels drawn with respect to Rama's life with that of Krishna Prabhupada, Shri Gaur Leela, tons of techniques. Very, very grateful. How to not fall prey to bad association like Mother Kaikai and survive with sattvic nature, focused on our path. Please, if time permits, please this question. Okay.
What is that? If time permits?
No, if time permits, please this question. And by her question is how to not fall prey to bad association like Mother Kaikai and survive with sattvic nature, focused on our path.
Yes. So we have to follow the. Now, what happened to Valmiki? Let's go back to Valmiki because we're talking of Ramayana. So Valmiki was most abominable person. Even more than what we are in Kali Yuga. He used to kill. He was a hunter. He was a killer. He used to kill for fun also. Ratnakar. So he was elevated just by chanting the holy name of the Lord. So even though that was not the Yuga Dharma for Treta Yuga, but still by chanting that particular or and listening to the superior Narada Muni, he got elevated. And he got elevated to what? Such a place that entire Ramayana was revealed to him. So can we not achieve that just by chanting? Because all the more when chanting is the Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga, so definitely we'll attain. So A, B, C, D, as Prabhupada says, A for association, B for books reading, C for chanting, D for diet, sattvic diet, prasadam. So if you follow these rules, then automatically we will make progress in devotion, and surely we will get the same benefit that Valmiki got. We'll get the same benefit that all the pure devotees get because we'll become pure. Our soul is pure. Our consciousness is contaminated. So we need to purify our consciousness by associating with another pure conscious soul. So the best way to do that is to uh, follow the Guru Parampara, association. You know, you have to progress only by Guru. Without Guru, you cannot progress. We will always be puffed up. So when the moment Guru comes, we realize how fallen soul we are. That is what actually, because Guru, he will, when he is cleaning your cheta, then you know, if you take a glass of water, muddy water, and the mud is settled, right now our condition is mud is settled. The Guru will just stir up the glass with a spoon and all the mud will come out. And that mud will come up. When the mud comes up, that is nothing but a state when all our anarthas are coming up. One by one, everything will come out. And one by one, we will know what our position is, and then they'll get slowly and steadily taken care. Purely by service. That is the path which we are supposed to follow. If we can do that in this lifetime, we'll go back home in this lifetime. Otherwise, wherever we end up, we'll get a chance to continue from that point in the next life. But each passing away of life will make it tougher and tougher because Kali Yuga is becoming more and more fallen. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. There is a question by Govardhan Gopal Prabhu. Prabhu, please keep it short as time is already. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Govardhan Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'm asking on behalf of these two devotees in the bus. I'm in Haridwar. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Hey,
Prabhu.
Jai. Madan Morar Prabhu ki Jai. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Prabhu, you
They are
can
both
actually
cooking.
you can comment and you can correct me also, Prabhu.
No, Prabhu. They are cooking, so they wanted me to ask. Both of them are. There are two Gopals. One is Govardhan Gopal Prabhu, and the other is our senior devotee Ram Gopal Prabhu.
Oh,
So,
Ram Vijay.
yeah. Ram Gopal. No, not Ram Vijay Prabhu. This is our Odisha devotee.
Acha, okay.
You may not. You probably saying you don't know.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. So the first question is, God is green color, no? Lord Ramchandra is like greenish like grass. So they're asking Bhagwan ke body pura chlorophyll pigment hai kya? That was the first one. And the other one, green color is usually associated with envy, right? You say you green as green envious. Don't turn green with envy like that. So why did Lord choose such a color like that? So these are the two questions they're asking.
Okay. So as far as I know, green represents purity, Prabhu. Like white also, green also is purity. You know, even amongst the, I mean, one would think why the Islamic countries are all green color flag, right? I mean, for example, Pakistan, that Pak is basically purity. In Arabic, it is purity. And green also represents purity. That's why Mother Nature, you see outside, there are more green than anything else. The grass is green, the mountains are green, everything is green. So green represents actually purity. And of course, Lord Ramchandra can take any color. The incarnations take different colors depending upon, because these are all happening in different kalpas, no? So in this kalpa, he came in green color. Maybe in some other color, depending upon that kalpa, he may take some other color also. And what was the second question, Prabhu?
Green is associated with envy, right? A person you turn green with envy, they say. So, how would you explain that the Lord assumes that kind of color?
I don't know. I have not heard of green with envy. I've heard more of red towards that actually, because envy is very similar to goes to anger, and their color is red. So I don't know, Prabhu. Maybe you can throw some light on that. I don't know.
No, I also have no idea. It just came out of the blue. He asked me that. Red is with anger. You get become red hot with anger. Your eyes become reddish like that. But
Yeah.
green is generally associated with envy, bro. That is that. But I
So
don't know how.
envy is just one step before uh, envy leads to anger. So I
Yeah,
would say
yeah.
that it is tending towards red only, and I've read that green is purity, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay, Broji. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. All the best
Yeah,
for your
thank
nice
you.
prasadam seva in Haridwar.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the question. Prabhu, we can conclude for today.
Okay. Thank you very much, dear devotees. And first of all, I'm very sorry that I had to go overtime because I had so much to share, but then the entire Ramayana in just one verse is a nice summary. And my humble request to everyone here, including myself, is that we have to memorize this particular verse. If we know this, we have known entire Ramayana. So thank you all for actively participating and giving me your nice association. Without your association, I would not have been able to speak anything here today. So Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. पतित पावन शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। पतित पावन शिल गुरुदेव की जय। बीआई भक्त वृंद की जय। हिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Shri Sanatan Prabhu ki jai. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you all the devotees and our listeners. Hare Krishna.
So I'm ending the session, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.